Hello everyone, welcome back to ShabanVerse. Today we have a shocking story from the crypto world. According to reports circulating across crypto media, Michael Saylor's company Strategy is currently sitting on approximately $14 billion in unrealized losses on its Bitcoin holdings. At the same time, Tom Lee's company, Bitmine, is reportedly facing around $10.5 billion in unrealized losses on its Ethereum investment. Those numbers are absolutely massive. But before you panic and think Bitcoin and Ethereum are collapsing forever, there's something very important you need to understand. These are unrealized losses, not realized losses. So in today's video, we'll break down what these losses actually mean, why Strategy and Bitmine are down billions, whether Michael Saylor made a mistake, what this means for Bitcoin and Ethereum investors, and what could happen next in the crypto market. Let's get started. First, let's understand the difference between realized and unrealized losses. Imagine you bought Bitcoin at $120,000. A few months later, Bitcoin drops to $90,000. On paper, you have lost money. But if you haven't sold your Bitcoin, that loss is only temporary. This is called an unrealized loss. The moment you sell, it becomes a realized loss. The same concept applies to companies. Strategy owns hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins. Bitmine owns a huge amount of Ethereum. When prices fall, accounting rules require these companies to report lower asset values. As a result, their balance sheets show billions of dollars in paper losses. However, if prices recover, those losses can quickly disappear. This is why investors should always look beyond the headline. A $14 billion loss sounds terrifying, but the reality is much more complicated. Let's talk about Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is one of the biggest Bitcoin supporters in the world. For years, he has argued that Bitcoin is the best store of value ever created. Instead of holding cash, Strategy has been aggressively buying Bitcoin. The company used cash reserves, stock offerings, and debt financing to accumulate a massive Bitcoin position. This strategy worked incredibly well during bull markets. When Bitcoin reached new highs, Strategy's holdings were worth tens of billions of dollars. Many investors praised Saylor as a visionary. However, the downside of this approach is volatility. When Bitcoin falls sharply, the value of those holdings also falls sharply. That's why Strategy is now showing billions in unrealized losses. Critics argue that the company is taking excessive risk. Supporters argue that Bitcoin's long-term trend remains bullish. Saylor himself has repeatedly stated that he has no intention of selling Bitcoin. His philosophy is simple: buy Bitcoin and hold forever. Whether that strategy succeeds will depend on Bitcoin's future price performance. Now let's look at Tom Lee and Bitmine. Tom Lee is well known for his bullish outlook on digital assets. Bitmine made a massive bet on Ethereum. The company believed Ethereum would continue benefiting from growing adoption, staking, decentralized finance, tokenization, and institutional demand. For a period of time, that thesis looked strong. However, crypto markets are highly volatile. As Ethereum declined, the value of Bitmine's holdings dropped significantly. This resulted in billions of dollars of unrealized losses. Some investors are questioning whether concentrating so much capital into a single digital asset is wise. Others believe Ethereum remains one of the strongest blockchain ecosystems in the world. The key point is that Bitmine's losses are largely driven by market prices. If Ethereum stages a strong recovery, much of those losses could reverse. Why crypto markets are under pressure? So why are Bitcoin and Ethereum struggling? Several factors are affecting the market. Macroeconomic uncertainty. Investors remain concerned about global economic growth. When uncertainty rises, risk assets often face selling pressure. Interest rates. Higher interest rates can reduce liquidity in financial market. Less liquidity often means lower demand for speculative investments. Profit-taking. After major rallies, many traders lock in profits. This creates downward pressure on prices. Market sentiment. Crypto is heavily influenced by emotions. Fear can spread quickly. Negative headlines often cause additional selling. Institutional positioning. Large funds and institutions frequently rebalance portfolios. These moves can create short-term volatility. Despite these challenges, many long-term investors remain optimistic. Historically, Bitcoin and Ethereum have experienced multiple major corrections before reaching new highs. This isn't the first time we've seen huge paper losses. During previous bear markets, Bitcoin fell more than 80%. Ethereum fell more than 90%. Major companies reported massive losses, yet both assets eventually recovered. Many investors who held through volatility were rewarded during later bull markets. Of course, history doesn't guarantee future results, but it reminds us that short-term price declines don't always determine long-term outcomes. The crypto market has always been cyclical. Booms are often followed by corrections. Corrections are often followed by recoveries. What investors should learn? There are several lessons here. First, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Second, understand the difference between paper losses and actual losses. Third, avoid making emotional decisions during market volatility. Fourth, diversification can help reduce risk. And finally, always do your own research. Even the biggest names in crypto experience huge swings in portfolio value. Volatility is part of the game. So are Michael Saylor and Tom Lee actually losing billions of dollars? Technically, yes, on paper. But these are currently unrealized losses. The final outcome depends on where Bitcoin and Ethereum go next. If crypto prices recover, these losses could shrink dramatically. If prices continue falling, the losses could grow even larger. The coming months will be extremely important for the crypto market. What do you think? Will Bitcoin and Ethereum recover? Or are we entering a deeper correction? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching ShabanVerse. See you in the next video.